22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. 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 And are not afraid to say it.
Welcome to Black Westchester Presents People Before Politics Radio every Sunday 6 to 8 on InTheMixRadio.com. We have the lovely Cynthia Turnquest Jones paying us another visit and back in the house. Say what's up to the people.
What's up, people? How y'all doing?
We have Damon K. Jones in the house.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm AJ Woodson, and we have special guest, Mount Vernon City Council President Marcus Griffith.
Good evening, everybody.
Big hand clap for where the hand clap, AJ? Yeah, you get a hand clap. You got to get the council president. Got to get a hand clap.
So first things first.
Turn my mic down a little, please.
First things first. Due to the inclement weather, we had a little snow delay, but we are here.
Yes.
People Before Politics. We thank all of those who hit us on any variation of social media to let us know we weren't on yet. We are here now. We are live and direct. We're going to talk about a lot of things today. First off, Cynthia, you've been gone for a minute. So what have you been up to lately? People are saying, where's Cynthia at? Yo, did she leave the show? Is she still down? What's going on with her?
I don't get involved in the politics part. I get in part of, people part. So when it's heavy, I don't really come out to the politics part.
Okay, so what have you been up to?
Stay in my lane. Working.
Okay.
Trying to educate our students. Just wanted to make an announcement that yesterday the SATs were canceled because of the inclement weather, and they have changed the SAT date for a date in February. So anyone who needs to know that's one thing. The next thing is to just keep people abreast of the Regents exams.
Okay.
Who in this room took a Regents exam before?
Yeah, I took one.
All right. So the Regents exam is an exam that only exists in New York State. Did y'all know that?
Yes.
All right. That means that if you are in high school and you are a New York State student and you are in 12th grade and you haven't passed any of your New York State exams as far as the Regents and you move to New Jersey, you will graduate immediately. Did you know that?
Did not know that.
Now you know it.
Parents should have moved.
All right. Another thing to know is that the New York State Regents exam is now changing in connection with Common Core. It is extremely difficult. What I'll do is I'll print out some and I'll bring it for y'all. How's that? I'll send it to your house. Make sure you take the test, Damon, AJ, and Marcus.
Take a test for what?
Take the Regents exam. Take one of them at least.
What do I do that for?
Which one do you want to take? You want to take the math, the global?
I ain't taking
the
nothing.
What you want to do? The English?
I ain't taking nothing.
Well, make sure you send me the
I
cheat
just
sheet
want
to
to
go
know.
with it.
The cheat sheet? Just send a cheat sheet.
So here's the thing with the Regents exams. It's difficult. And I've had students walk out of that exam, and God bless them, man.
God bless them.
Have to take a prayer over that one. But if you have an IEP, which is an individual evaluation program, which my son have, he has special education needs because my son, when he was 2 years old, he wasn't speaking yet. So he's been receiving speech therapy from the age of 2. And I was advised by certain doctors to make sure that I keep him in the speech therapy program all the way through till it's time for him to go to college. With that said, if he fails one of the Regents exams, he has a safety net because of that disability.
Right.
So he can still graduate.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he scored like a 75. Check this out, y'all. He scored a 75 on the Global Regents exam and scored a 64 on the ELA. And the point came from the
That's
one
out of
that
100, right?
Right.
Okay.
The point from which he passed, you take the point from there and you attach it to the one that you
Really?
failed, and it brings you up to the passing grade.
That's what's up.
When did
you
they start
like
doing
that?
No,
They've been doing
they've been doing that, but only rich white people knew how to do it
Really?
because
Yes.
So I
because
paid
my
teacher
son's
for nothing?
counselor understood that, and and that's what we did.
So
Right. So say it
That's
again.
what we
So
AJ?
I'm gonna get back to that. I just want to get the little introductions and before we get into
Yeah, so
topics.
that's just a little bit of information. I'm gonna post it up so individuals will know that when their child has an IEP or if they have a 504, AJ will give you the ability to have more time to take the exam.
Yes,
It's not that our children
Sounds good.
just cannot pass the exam, is that they need more time
Right.
to take the exam.
But you got to understand the system.
We need to do a show on that.
Yeah, we do
On the
because
education on that
because black families, and a lot of times the counselors, I'm not saying black counselors don't know, but a lot of times they don't tell, and I had to learn this, from a doctor, and to apply that
for your son.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I just want to add another thing to this equation. And when I tell y'all this, then this will definitely have to be a show. That there are schools that accept children that have an IEP. There are colleges that accept them with their IEP, including Columbia University.
Well, what I'm going to ask you to do is, I guess you would know who would need to come on the show
Oh,
to talk about that.
I got somebody great.
So find out when they're available, and we will have a show on that.
Okay.
So, Damon K. Jones, what have you been up to? I know you did an interview this week that appeared on Black Westchester that got a lot of attention.
Huh?
I said, what have you done this week? I said, I know you did an interview this week on Black Westchester, a video interview that got a lot of attention. What that appeared on the site today?
Oh, well, there's a few things on the site. There's a few things on the site. I will be, first things first, in November 2016. And City Council President, a lot of black elected officials will get an official invite because I'll be one of the ambassadors for the State of the Black World Conference in Newark, New Jersey. And it's going to be dedicated to the memory of Mary Baraka. His son is the Newark mayor.
Right.
So we're having it out there. They have it the State of the Black World is every 4 years after the presidential election to reevaluate where black people, black families are on each presidential election. And the host is Dr. Ron Daniels. AJ, you know who he is.
Props to
and a lot
shout
of
out to
people
Dr. Ron Daniels.
in the Pan-African movement
Right.
know who Dr. Ron Daniels is.
Yes, yes.
And it's a great forum for black people, educated all the way down to the common worker, to come together and discuss what we need to do as black people and black families to make our community stronger. So I am honored to be one of the ambassadors for that for that event. The next thing, I think there was a video interview of a brother named, and all this is on blackwestchester.com, or the people that are listening. Ricky Maxwell is a young brother who worked in the Department of Corrections, and he was hurt protecting another officer. And for some reason, they canceled his health care. Now, he didn't decide to quit the job on his own. The county of Westchester retired him. Said he was disabled. He couldn't work. So the question is, how do you retire somebody on disability and take away their health care? And we know if you're already disabled, if you're not having the health care to take care of that disability, it morphs into other health issues. We understand that. So this young man has been fighting since 2011. And we haven't heard anything from the county exec or the county legislator. He was, Lyndon Williams met with him, but, if people watch the video, he gives a big shout out to Lyndon Williams, but the main thing is he's not in Lyndon's district. He lives in Peekskill. So we'll be going in front of the county legislator soon to voice his opinion, because they're saying that there's a clause that if you work less than 4 years and you leave the job, that you do not get health care. That's a county clause. But the collective bargaining agreement between the correction officers in the county and the 207C policy, this is why I say, you got to have a 207C policy to cover all this. It doesn't say anything in the 207C policy that if you happen to leave the job, that your health benefits will be taken away. So he does have an issue, but the problem is, we have union presidents these days that are more political than people, and more political than the people that pay their dues. So he hasn't heard anything. He had one meeting, and I orchestrated that meeting, and then he haven't heard anything back from the union president. So we will be going in front of the county legislators to discuss this issue. And we're not asking any special treatment. We're just asking, everybody says it's wrong, but nobody's doing anything about it. And I think that's sad on the county's end, because they have hired, within the last 2 years, over 250 new officers. So you have 250 new officers that have less than 4 years that are getting hurt now. They are getting hurt now. Officers are getting their collarbone broken. They're getting arms broken. They're getting hurt now. So what are you going to do with these officers now? Are you going to retire them and not give them health care like you did Officer Maxwell? So I think this is an issue that needs to be addressed, and we just can't play, political issues with all this. So, and I hope all the young correction officers watch this video. Not only correction officers, but law enforcement, firemen, and understand. You got to understand what's in your contract. Understand what's in your collective bargaining agreement. You talk to these police officers and law enforcement officers now, they have no damn clue what's in their contract. Only thing they trying to do is make overtime, but their benefits are being swindled away. Listen, I'm pro policy, and I'm also pro labor, but I also tell these young officers to educate themselves, and there's a political process in everything.
So Damon, with that said, so how do you guys go about? That's one of the issues that I see right now in the New York City Department of Education, where you have the young folks who are coming in, and they have no idea as to what is in their contract. They have no clue. And if a leader was a leader who was an upstanding leader, they could just get over them in many, many different ways.
And that's what they're doing.
Right. And so I don't know if I shared this with you, but I was paying $400 a paycheck for my health insurance. And
Lord.
Yo. And so everybody was like, how come you don't have a free one? So I was like, the free one? So then I had some elders come up to me and teach me about the free one, and just look into the doctors that you have first to see if they're covered. And a lot of people complain, but they're complaining about the copay. The copay is $10.
Right.
I'll pay the $10. It's that $400 per paycheck, not per month, per paycheck. And so one of the things that I try to teach the teachers, I'm a leader. I'm not in there. I'm not in the UFT. I'm in the CSA. But I tell them, I said, if you don't know your rights, I could just do anything I want to do to you.
Well, that's, that's the culture of unions now, and one day we're going to talk about this because, and I even say the police unions really don't have any power like they used to. They just have bark, because most of the police officers don't live in the community, so they can't even vote anyway. So what a police union has lost their power because they have pushed for the cops not to live in the city, but now you don't even have a voting power. So what really bargaining tool do you have? You know, you might do little slowdowns here and there, but at the end of the day, everybody's trying to get paper now. It's not even about unity in the union more, because the only thing they got to do is promise to promote somebody, and they'll sell the whole body down to the river in one contract. You know, so I mean, we need to have a labor discussion. You know, not anti-government, but have a labor discussion, because the reality is most of these jobs, they're black people that get these jobs. You know, the labor unions. You know, the black middle class was built off the labor unions. You know, let's not. You know, it was built off the labor unions, and now they're trying to kill the labor unions. But the whole thing is, these labor presidents are not living up to the job. You know, and we need to talk about that.
And they're sitting in there and they making these contracts and you know, so like right now,
I had my president tell the membership, you should be happy you have a job.
Yo, so
you know, you gotta be kidding me.
Yo, New York City teachers got a raise, right? I moved to Maryland and came back, and from the time I moved to Maryland and came back, we never had a raise the entire time. So the raise go all the way back to when Kobe was 1 year old. But you're not gonna get all the money until they refuse to give out the lump sums.
Right.
They split it up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They said we're gonna give you $1,000. I said, now once Uncle Sam get in there, you're gonna only be able to get some wine for your cabinet now after Uncle Sam come in there for that G, right?
Right.
And then they split it up. Do you know that split up is until like 2019?
Yeah, that's crazy. But let me tell you, at my job, you know,
2019. And so they have questions like, well, what if you die before?
Yeah. Let me tell you.
Who's on the show?
What they do at my job, when they settle a contract and it's a big retro check, they don't hand out the agreement, what they agreed. They hand out how much you're going to get for retro.
Right.
They just see that money.
So take it.
They could have gave their wife away.
Because Marcus, you're a money man, right? Your degree's in finance, right?
That's true.
All right. So you know what else they do? They take your raise and your retro and
put it together.
Regular check.
Yes.
Yo.
We used to.
It's a special line item. It should say retro, right?
No. Well, yeah, you're a special line item, but what we used to do, we used to have separate checks. We used to have separate overtime checks, and our retro check was separate.
That was good. I had that.
And then what they said was, now this is you're talking about in the 90s, before the whole computer era, and really when people was. You know, when I started in '90, wasn't really nobody using direct deposit. You drove your ass up to that jail every other Thursday and got your check. So they said, well, we want to save money, so they started combining it. So my whole thing is now, don't nobody come up there anymore. So let's go back. Let's have different deposits on the thing. But you know, you have to what you have is young people that don't know, and they don't know the history of the struggle with labor. They don't understand their responsibilities, you know, and they just think
they don't understand when it's time to go out there. But they tell you that you got to come out there and boycott. They don't understand
but
that.
Then there's a culture.
And what I'm finding also is that the young people today didn't have the parents that went through it. See, we're of the age that our parents were like,
that's right.
When I first went to Hampton, my parents was like, don't be careful driving down south, because it was like, be careful.
Once you cross the Mason-Dixon line, son.
But I was still like, no, I'll be okay. But I knew, I was like, oh, okay. But you know what? My point is that this new generation doesn't have the parents to even understand, because they missed the story from their grandparents. It's not translating, you know, and it's really our fault.
It's scary.
We have to make sure that we let our children know, and I'm not talking about just our children, but you know, the young people, that this is a struggle and we're doing okay, but it's not done. We're not done.
One thing I used to always talk to not just my daughter but all of her friends, because I figured, you know, Yeah, my daughter might have common sense, but she spend more time with her friends than she do with me. So I had to make sure they had common sense too. So if they didn't have parents to give them common sense, I try to always plant seeds in them and educate them as well as my daughter. You know what I'm saying? Because they always got her ear. You don't need a bunch of people around your kid that ain't got no sense.
That's right.
So I always tried to take that approach to, the ones that was in her, little crew that always came around. I always try to drop a little knowledge to them too, and
Yeah, so we just got to make sure that we just keep passing along. So we got a couple of announcements. We're gonna talk about a couple of things.
Well,
Oh, you know what? I forgot to tell y'all.
Real quick. Because people said we don't do this, so now we're doing it. I am on the chat room. There is a chat room on the site, and we've never monitored.
To be honest,
I am signed into the.
Never even watched the show on the site.
Yeah, well, I'm watching it. I'm on it.
I know.
Yeah, but I got it on the other computer now, so I am monitoring the chat room. Shout out to Shauna, who's in the chat room. I wanted to shout out Frank Trulio from Trusco, dedicated individual. 4:30 in the morning, DPW got stuck, and he had to dig them out. So they could keep doing the job.
Hand clap from Frank from Trusco. Wow. Hand clap.
So he had to dig them out.
Saving DPW.
Frank, you been to his spot? You been over to Frank's spot?
No, I haven't.
Oh
yet.
Man, he said that he has a vision to have a connection with the schools in Mount Vernon,
right?
With the gardening. He had the rooftop.
It's beautiful. Yeah, the first time I went there, I was like, oh my goodness, you don't even know. You have to go in there to see that.
Yeah.
And he did all that himself. Like the first time I went there.
What's his dog name?
Oh, it's been a long time.
His dog is wild.
Wait. Hold on. Before we get into announcements.
I was
no,
Marcus, you have to speak closer into the mic. They're saying they're not hearing you well, so make sure you talk
before we get into the announcements.
Sorry, everybody.
I would like to say for everybody,
clearer.
Yes.
Thank you. Make sure we hear you,
City Council President. I would like to say good riddance to Janet DeFiore. Goodbye. Get out. Here's the boot. Gone. Don't you come back no more. No more. Don't you come back no more. Janet DeFiore has been confirmed as the next chief judge by the state committee. And I will be, once I get the vote, I will announce all the black elected officials from Westchester County that voted for her, that know all the issues black people had with this woman and investigating and even investigating police shootings, and also just how she handled the black community through the DA's office. I think it was atrocious. I think it was sad, and if these and from what I hear, she got all the votes she needed, but I'm going to holler out all the black elected officials that voted for her, because I think they should be called out and let them know that they voted yes for a woman that literally terrorized the black community and smiled in our face, showed up to black preachers' churches like she ain't do nothing, like she was the champion of black people when. Only thing she did was terrorize. She was the legal Taliban of Westchester County. Yes, wow, I said it.
Some strong words.
Yes, I said it. Yes, I said it. I'm not going to allow her to just leave and not get a little spanking. Because we should be ashamed of ourselves as a people that we voted for these many times and got bamboozled. Black preachers, y'all did that.
Okay.
Now,
to answer Cynthia's question. The German Shepherd, the dog's name is Abigail.
Yes, Abigail. Abigail
I'm getting all
loves
of that
Frank.
Yeah,
This is great. You can find out all this information where.
People a lot of times our listeners, they hit us either on Facebook Messenger or now the chat room. So when we've been talking about stuff, Brenda Crump is also excellent. If we ever talk about something, she posts the article.
We need Brenda Crump to have
on the website, so people as like they
video
can read
cam with Brenda Crump, because she come up with the information. Quick.
She always she'll give you, if we're talking about anything tonight and it was on the news, she will pull the news clip up and post it so people can read it.
Yeah. So I just want to make an announcement. Shout out to Delta Sigma Theta of Westchester Alumni Chapter. We collaborated with, this was great. So we collaborated with last week. We collaborated with the NAACP. No. Was it the NAACP? The Martin Luther King Institute.
Okay.
And so they have a Westchester Martin Luther King Jr. Freedom Library.
Where's that at? My place.
That is in the Slater Center on 2
In
Fisher
Greenbelt. Yeah, okay.
Court, White Plains, New York.
Okay.
I don't
right.
think everybody knew that.
And so they had a fundraiser at Barnes & Nobles. And the way the fundraiser goes at Barnes & Nobles is whoever go in there to purchase, 10% of the proceeds will go to the Westchester Martin Luther King Jr. Freedom Children's Library.
Huh. All right.
Oh, great.
And so I met Damon. I met
You
Doris
met
Dalton.
Damon? Oh, Doris Dalton. I love
Yes,
her.
she's a
We love
friend.
Doris.
So check it out. So I
a
walk
friend of the
in.
show.
Now
Yes.
check this out. Now I walk in.
I saw the picture.
And
y'all
so
two
she
together.
saw me. She shook my hand. I said, "How you doing? My name is Cynthia Turnquist Jones." She said,
I know you.
She said, "Damon Jones, Kenneth Chamberlain." I said, "Yeah, those my road dogs."
Call her,
She
please
said,
hold. Call her, please
I
hold.
heard a lot about you. So I just want to give a shout out to that, and it was a they had a day filled. That day was just filled with many
Yeah,
different
and-
authors and things of that nature.
And
that
we
went
like
on.
to give Dolores a shout out because
Doris.
Doris. I'm sorry,
Reverend
Doris. a
Doris
shout out.
Dalton, yes.
Give her a shout out because she has been with others leading the fight for people of color in decision making positions in White Plains. They are fighting for a black police commissioner in White Plains. They're still fighting, even though Mayor Roach lied to them and said he wasn't going to promote people, and he turned it around and promoted people that should not be in any decision-making position in White Plains Police Department.
Whoever abused black officers.
Yes, whoever boozed, and one assaulted a black officer with a chair, and now she's chief of police. So we see how these systems are actually going. So, but a shout out to MLK Institute and all those people in White Plains who are fighting for color in the White Plains Police Department. They're saying the management of White Plains should not be all white, and I agree with that. Right now, we have no black commissioners
In Westchester County.
in Westchester County in the 43 municipalities.
Mount
They're not-
Vernon had the only one.
let me talk it. I'm now, dude.
Gotta get you,
In
get
43 municipalities, there's not one. There's not one black person above the rank of captain in the 43 municipalities.
you. Who's that?
There's a brother in if he didn't retire, in Greenberg he was a captain, and then you had Lieutenant Scott, but Lieutenant Scott he was like one of the top, but he retired. Then we lost Terrence Rayner, and the only person that we have as a deputy commissioner is Deputy Commissioner Wanda Smithson in the Department of Corrections, but in the police world, corrections don't count. So let's go back to the 43 municipalities. We have nobody. The highest ranking person of color is really a captain. Is a Latino captain in county police. So we can't even get higher than that.
We have a few callers. I'm gonna go
Let's go to the caller.
go to the first caller. People before politics. Please state your name and your purpose for calling, please. Hello.
Asked by Cynthia to call in.
Say
I
your,
am
name again.
the-
Say your name again. I'm sorry, you got cut off.
My name is Dr. Corey Reynolds.
Oh, Dr.
yes.
Corey Reynolds.
Yes.
Yes, Dr. Corey Reynolds, we want to congratulate you that you will be
Oh,
appointed.
hold on. He might have to call back because we're getting feedback.
Or
Try
maybe
now.
he need to turn off his radio.
Yeah, if he has, Dr. Reynolds, if you have your radio on, can you turn that down or turn it off, please? Hello, are you there?
I muted. Okay, that was not us. Go ahead. Try
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, Dr. Reynolds.
Yes, my radio is off.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Because we
So
were getting an echo.
we just want to congratulate you on your soon to be appointed as Assistant Superintendent for Human
getting an echo.
Resource in White Plains Board of Education.
Yes, thank you very much for the White Plains City School District. Yes.
Yes, sir. And we all like to congratulate you for making that achievement.
Thank you very, very much. It's a humbling occasion. The process was lengthy and it was actually very intense, but I'm very grateful and blessed to have this opportunity to work for the children of White Plains.
Great. And we hope in the near future you can actually come on the show and tell us what you're doing in White Plains and what your agenda and working with the kids and moving forward, because education is definitely the key for all our children to be successful.
Absolutely. We're gonna let Cynthia, since you have a relationship.
So he was picked. He was chosen out of 70 candidates.
Wow.
Yeah, out of 70 candidates, and so you went to Seton Hall for your doctoral, and I see here that you also attended Fordham and the College of New Rochelle.
Yes, I went to Seton Hall for both my doctoral and my bachelor's, and I received 2 master's degrees, one from Fordham University and one from College of New Rochelle.
All right. So where were you before? What school were you? You're a principal right now, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I am currently the principal of Roosevelt School in Ossining, in Ossining Union Free School District, and prior to that, I was the assistant principal for Park School, also in Ossining. And I began my career working as a first grade teacher in the Greenberg Central School District at Lee F. Jackson Elementary School.
Okay.
Oh, great! Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm from the Greenberg. I'm a product of the Greenberg.
Right. And I see David's face.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, that's what I'm talking about, Greenberg. I'm a product. What land?
Damon perked up.
Yeah, I heard
He
that.
said
Wow.
Greenberg. So I just wanted to make sure that you called in and that we congratulate you, and we will make sure that we can get a one-on-one article so you can be featured in Black Westchester magazine.
And actually come into the studio.
And talk about your journey and the mission and vision that you have for White Plains School District.
Absolutely. I appreciate the acknowledgement, and it will be my honor to sit with you and to give you all of the information that I'll have readily available for you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Have a great night.
And listen, keep up the fantastic work that you're doing there.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay. Take care now.
We have another caller on the line. Caller, state your name and your purpose for calling.
Good evening, Samuel Rivers. How's everybody doing?
Samuel Rivers, how are you, sir?
Oh, I'm okay. How's everything going? How's everyone in the storm?
Well, it's all right.
Yeah, we're doing pretty well.
I finally came out the house.
Well,
I've
the
been
streets
shoveling
where
all
I
day.
think were, they were compared where you are. My street was okay. I didn't see any DPW clean my street. It was the actual Board of Education was cleaning my street. But I have a couple of questions that I want to ask, because I got a couple of press releases by this mayor stating that we had dilapidated equipment. But I do remember a couple of years ago that we had a big bond go out, and we had 8 brand new plows for these garbage trucks. So at that point, we were supposed to be, up to date with our equipment. And I haven't seen those plows on the street in a couple of years. So I want to find out, where are these plows? I've heard that they may be too big, or he ordered the wrong plow. Why can't we take these plows back, negotiate to the manufacturer, try to exchange them, or maybe sell them on eBay or something and recoup some of our loss? Because I think these plows are thousands of dollars. No, I'm serious. We can, get our money.
Sam, I remember when you had looked into that, because the exchange was the fact that the plows were just sitting there and they weren't being used, and that they were waiting to be used in some kind of parade that they were having in Mount Vernon. Am I correct?
No, yes, correct.
Yeah,
and I've actually got arrested going down to the yard a few times inquiring about this.
That. So we got to.
So I just want to find out why aren't we using these plows? Because I think
where they be?
Right, because I think it's irresponsible for our administration, especially a mayor, to come out and say we are dilapidated and making all these excuses. We are up. We have the equipment. We just have the wrong equipment, so we need to figure out how to get it. And 2, I wanted to find out what can be done, because I went to DPW the other day, and this is something separate, and looked on the carting list. And I saw a name on there that is also our Deputy Police Commissioner, Joe Spezio. He's on the list of CART as number 9 on this list. And he's also the Deputy Commissioner. I think that is a conflict of interest. And what can we do? Because he can use his position, not saying he's doing it, as a police commissioner, to get garbage contracts. And also, he's in court tomorrow being prosecuted for storing illegal dumpsters. So can we put any legislation in place? I know we don't have advise and consent right now, but what is the process till we get it? Because it just seems like we're just putting people in these positions and we're not vetting them properly.
That's for you, Marcus.
Oh, is it? I thought there was somebody else that may want to.
No, I don't want to touch that one.
Council President Marcus Griffith.
I was reading. So what's the question? Go ahead and ask the question.
Well, the question is, how do we get? Well, it seems like the only thing at this point is how do we go about getting advice and consent? I looked in our charter and I don't see we have it. How do we go about getting it? Is that something we could do locally here in Mount Vernon, or is that something we have to go to Albany and pray that our legislators all work together and pass it?
Yes, it's not an easy process. One of the things that we do know is that you cannot take power away from an elected official. So elected officials have certain rights, and those rights don't go with them individually. It goes with that. It goes with the role. It goes with the title. So to get advice and consent, we would have to change the charter. It would be a long process, and believe you me, we thought about it. We just weren't able to obtain that when we wanted to obtain it, because we were concerned about who would be appointed to different positions. And just to backtrack a little bit, we are still trying to figure out who's been appointed to what in the city. So normally,
I haven't been able to get that information either because I tried to foil for it.
Right. So we know that there are some people appointed to some roles, and they have been sworn in. So all right. So let's take it a step back. You know, once you're in a role in City Hall, you're sworn in as that title, and then that's what makes you official. So we know that there's been a transition period, and of course there's going to be new faces around City Hall. But we're getting to a point now where we really need to know who is who, what their title is, what their responsibilities are, and to move forward. So, the council meets twice a month. We do, talk in between, but we officially meet twice a month. We had a hefty conversation at our first meeting with our new council people. And then tomorrow evening, we're going to have another conversation to try to see what's been going on and what we need to do to protect the city. And let me say this, being on the radio. Everybody looks to the mayor, and we all look to the mayor because the mayor's job and responsibility is to manage the city on a day-to-day basis. Now, the council has a sort of higher position, and I always refer to people to read the charter, and in the charter you will find that the people of Mount Vernon created the council first, and then the council created the office of the mayor. The council is the one that said, hey, we don't want to be here every day. We want to put somebody in place to run this city, and we want them to do it exclusively. So the mayor cannot, by charter, have another job. The mayor's job is solely to do the day-to-day operations of the city. And with those powers, he is allowed to appoint certain people to certain positions and to move on from there. So my point is to say that the council's responsibility is really to check the mayor. Another example that I give is that the mayor cannot spend any dollars from the city without getting approval from the council. The mayor can't accept $1. If you wanted to donate $1 to the city of Mount Vernon, the mayor would have to write to the council and say, hey, council, so-and-so donated $1. Can I accept $1? So I bring that point to let you know that the mayor really shouldn't be doing things that are outside of his pre-written powers without checking with the council.
Now, let me go. You mentioned that. Sorry, you mentioned that at the last council meeting, and I never got a chance to talk to you. So I didn't know the thing about like he can't accept a donation like that.
So the charter is set up to protect the city. The council's job is really to check and protect the city. So the mayor can run amok. But when the council can at any time can come in there and say, "Hey, Mr. Mayor, you can't do this."
Can't hold it much longer.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
I was about to get up and start dancing. And these are the reasons why. So, and that's what we need to do. So, we know we had some misappointments where people were appointed to things that they shouldn't have been appointed to. The council.
Stop playing videos.
I'm not playing videos.
So
who's playing games?
No, I'm trying to.
Who's that?
it's
The
not
site
me.
switched on. That's the actual in the mix radio site.
Oh, stop watching that stuff. All right.
Go
So that's the role. That's the role. And the council is going to meet tomorrow and discuss what we need to do to make sure the mayor stays in his lane if we need to, and if we don't, we're just going to sit back and do our regular approvals of stuff and keep it moving. So all in all, so I'm just hearing now that this gentleman Spezio was appointed to something. I'm not even sure what
he's supposed to be.
According to the
well, he's supposed to be police commissioner.
Yeah, I don't know.
The dollar, what Ward had, the position Ward had.
Okay.
Commissioner Ward. That's what he's supposed allegedly.
Okay.
Allegedly.
Okay.
But that's what the Journal News.
Yeah,
said.
Phil Reisman wrote in his column that Richard Thomas had said that he is an honorary commissioner, meaning that he doesn't get paid, and his job is to raise money for the police department or something like that, I believe.
But I don't think that's what.
But
What was Ward's position?
That was the quote.
I mean, because I think Ward's position was in the charter. That's what. Or was, am I mistaken? Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Commissioner and
okay. Let me just
deputy.
Sam was saying something.
Say that,
I had
Sam?
you muted, Sam. Sorry. Go ahead.
I said there's no such thing as honorary commissioner in the budget. It says deputy, commissioner and deputy commissioner in the budget. It doesn't say honorary commissioner. So he's an actual deputy commissioner that receives $1 a year. Has the same perks as another deputy. Gets a badge, and he could go buy guns on that badge from a gun store.
Oh, very interesting.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But let me ask you a question. If we're not clear on who he has appointed, right? If there's people in City Hall, how do they have access to people's personal information? And if the council is not clear who he has appointed.
So right. So one thing I want to just relay is that another thing I want to relay that people sometimes don't get correct is the council does not work in City Hall. Nor should we. So, we should not be getting into the mix of what's going on in City Hall. We come into City Hall, review what people have presented to us, and then we respond to that. So often we do get word from City Hall that this is going on, that's going on. But again, we don't formally meet until those work session meetings that we have. And so, yes, we are hearing things, and we have staff in City Hall, and of course civil service is critical at a time like this when there's a transition, because civil service can say, no, it doesn't work like that. Let me tell you why. It should work like this, and this is how it will be. All of that goes on as well. So, no, right now I'm not sure who the commissioners are. And then I know people would think that the council would know things right away. A lot of times we find stuff out just like everybody else does, unless it's something really an emergency. Whether it be on Facebook or on the news or whatever. Then we call in and say, hey, what's going on? It's not perfect.
Okay.
We're not the first ones to know of everything.
Right.
I didn't do that either.
Oh, so Sam,
we got a new system.
Is Sam still on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, any other questions, my brother?
Well, I just want to let everybody know that the same deputy commissioner is being prosecuted, is in city court tomorrow at 9 a.m. for illegal storage of dumpsters in Mount Vernon. So I will keep everyone apprised as to what's going on and make you aware at the city council meeting on Wednesday.
Oh, thank you.
We appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Rivers.
Okay, take care. Have a good evening. I want to continue listening.
All right. Real quick, Marcus, piggybacking kind of off of what the question was, is there a deadline that has to be met to appoint all the appointees, or can he just take his time and maybe in March appoint somebody and maybe in June appoint somebody if he hasn't appointed? I'm not sure. Is there a system in place, or is there a deadline or anything, or it doesn't? No, there isn't.
I want to say no, and the reason why I say that is because in prior administrations, there have not been commissioners, but there have been deputy commissioners in certain roles. So, and there's reasons for that, or there's reasons why that may be. So there's no real urgency. Of course, we would like to have all the commissioners in place, because if you don't have a fire commissioner and there's a fire, who you gonna yell at, who you gonna scream at, and that becomes a problem. So what the city looks for, or at least what the council looks for, is that the city is protected, covered, and strategized in a way that will work. And the example that I have is that, you know, for a period there was no assessor, but the deputy assessor did a great job in the interim. There was a long period of time where we had no planning commissioner. All we had technically was a deputy planning commissioner, and he did a fine job in that role. So there are times that roles are not filled, but the cities can still run.
Now, speaking of that, because we do have a deputy fire commissioner that was sworn in, and I know that you were answering a question that one or two people had brought up at the council about the position of, I think, commissioner of public safety over fire and police, and the combining the two commissionerships. When I know I talked to you before and you mentioned that would be a good idea because it would consolidate was the word. It could save the city money. But then you had said something at the council or something about even with the consolidation, it would have to be approved by the council. So right. And there was some people unclear on what that role was that Commissioner Kelly has. Is it over fire? Is it over police? Is it over both, or what at this point?
So there's one thing that's clearly written in the charter, and that is that you have the mayor has the powers to appoint a fire commissioner, or a commissioner of public safety, a fire commissioner, and a few others, building commissioner, the assessor.
Is the public safety commissioner the same as a police commissioner?
Yes.
Because I think Chong was a public safety commissioner and Rayner was the police commissioner. Right?
Well, it depends on what's in the charter, how the charter is defined on those roles.
Well, I mean, but Chong was the public safety commissioner, wasn't he?
I think Charles was police commissioner. He was public safety commissioner when he came to White Plains.
Oh, okay. Because that was something that was brought up before too. So I wanted to know if that.
No,
was
because they had when Chong was here, they had a fire commissioner.
Right.
Okay.
According to the charter, you can appoint one of each, and I thought, no. So let me say this: the council changes with the mayor, right? So if there's a different executive in office, the council has to adapt to that new mayor style. And
right.
So when Mayor Thomas said that he wanted to try to combine departments, I said, okay, it makes sense. So when I heard that he was combining the police and fire, public safety and fire, I said, okay, that's a good idea. He's going to have to come to the council and let's try to, state his case, and maybe the council will decide to do that. But that's not what he did. What he did was he appointed a deputy mayor of police and fire, and he cannot do that.
Well,
there is no title as deputy mayor.
Okay.
That is a title in other municipalities, and that is legal in other municipalities. That is not legal in Mount Vernon. There is no role of deputy mayor. And then you cannot combine commissioners without coming to the council and saying, "Hey, council, I have an idea. I want to merge these two, save money. I have an optimal candidate that knows fire and knows police. What do you guys think? Vote on it. Let me know. And if I have your approval, I will go ahead and appoint this person." That's how it's supposed to be done. But that was not how it was done. So the council had to write a letter to the mayor and say, we do not accept, or we will not allow this commissioner of public safety and fire. That title does not exist. It does not exist in Mount Vernon. It does not exist in the state of New York for Mount Vernon. There is no salary line for it, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of people think that the mayor can do whatever he wants, or she wants. The mayor cannot do whatever he or she wants. He or she has to go to the council to get approval to do it. That is the balance of power. That's what keeps Mount Vernon, strong and safe. And another thing people need to know is that government is slow. It was designed to be slow. If it was quick change, we would have chaos. So all of these approvals need to go through. And if it's a good approval, we could have had it approved by now. But we've never been asked to combine positions.
Okay. Now, okay, you brought up the deputy mayor thing. There was a lot of misunderstanding and of that because our mayor had said that.
Well, let me cut you off. I don't know why there's a misunderstanding about the title of deputy mayor. It's so easy. You go to the charter, you look for the title doesn't exist. If you don't go there, you go to the budget, you go to the salary lines in the budget, you look for deputy mayor, there is not one there. You just can't pencil a role in. It just does not work like that. So I could understand if the mayor came from corporate America where they do whatever they want and they run their company how they want, but this mayor was on the council for 4 years. So this mayor should know that you just can't create deputy mayor. So, the council, and also the council didn't need to do anything because if the natural course of things were going to take its course. Somebody is not going to get paid for the title that they were appointed to because there is no title. So the council really doesn't have to do anything because when it comes down to it, they will not be respected. We won't recognize them. It will correct itself.
So that would, I mean, if someone is giving a title that is not in the charter, right, even though it might be a good idea moving forward, right? It might be a good idea moving forward. It might save money, but there is no title. Then that person is not recognized, and that person is basically volunteering their duties for the city of Mount Vernon until that issue is corrected.
That's the way I look at it, and that's the way every Mount Vernonite should look at it. Because if that was not the case, the mayor or myself, I could appoint people to do. You could be the official radio station of Mount Vernon, and I could say I'm going to pay you guys X amount of dollars, and you are the official.
Right.
Right. And so go to the controller's office and get your check. All right.
And Marie, I will never do that.
Well, let me
You will not put me in that situation with Marie.
Right. We
just cannot do that.
We have a call. We have in the chat room. We have Andrea Ayers said he was sworn in as the Commissioner of Public Safety. That was her comment.
Well, that's just not true. So I looked at the official raised seal certification of being sworn in, and that is not what it says. So
what? Now tell us what it said.
It says Commissioner of Public Safety and Fire. So he needs to go back, get sworn in again as one thing, and then he will be.
Now that's what I was going to ask you. If it's a position he was sworn in that doesn't exist, does he actually have a position, or does he actually have to be sworn in now to the proper position?
So again, I can have you raise your hand and swear you in as whatever,
right.
But you're not going to get paid. So it is not a title. So at the end of the day, anybody can swear anybody in as anything they want. But if that title is not on that list of titles within the budget that we approved in December 30th, right, it's not going to work.
Got you.
So
it doesn't exist.
It just does not exist. So he may be really working as the police commissioner. If that's the case, at some point, he really needs to get sworn in as the police commissioner. So
is he getting paid?
That I do not know because I don't run the controller's office.
Okay.
His letterhead says Commissioner of Public Safety.
So let's go on real, right? I saw what he was sworn in as. Mm-hmm. Only certain people can swear you in, all right? So I know what he was sworn in as. So something doesn't connect.
Okay.
Let's get it connected, and everything will be fine. And once again,
so he was sworn in
at the Dole Center.
And you said on the paper he was sworn in as what?
Commissioner of Public Safety and Fire.
Got you.
And that doesn't exist.
That combined title does not exist. That is one title.
Okay.
It does not exist.
All right.
So
that title is two titles?
If he was sworn in as public safety,
fine.
It'd be good.
Absolutely.
If he was sworn in as fire,
absolutely,
he'd be good.
Right.
But if he's sworn in as public safety and fire,
no,
that's a no-go.
That's not a title.
Right. So that has to get changed.
I believe he needs to be.
Who's going to address it?
Well, the council wrote a letter to the mayor saying that there is no such title, and I'm sure civil service, there's a whole civil service commission that works on that too. So there are rules, and we need to flow with those rules.
All right, I got you.
So what do we need to do? So he needs to be sworn in before he actually.
He needs to be sworn in as one or the other.
Right.
That's right.
Not the two of them.
That's right.
Got you.
That's right.
Okay, so we've cleared that.
So that's good. That's good.
Good information.
And I'm not making this up, ladies and gentlemen. This is in the charter. This is in the charter.
And the charter can be found on the Mount Vernon, City of Mount Vernon website.
We covered
it can be downloaded.
That's right.
Right.
Say it, where can I find that? Let me.
CMV.
I'm sure Brenda.
CMV.
Brenda, post it, Brenda.
Post
the
Yeah.
city charter,
But,
Brenda.
but for those listening, it's cmvny.com. That's the city website. And on there, while it's difficult to navigate through things, you have to find where it is and chart it and click on it.
And I always bring it back to the pay, right? Because what people may say, titles, I don't care. Yeah, you do. So if he's being paid for public safety and fire, how much is he being paid? That's a question. So again, if the council feels that it's the right thing to do to pay him $300,000, let's say, or 200, let's round it. Let's say the public safety is 100, fire is 100. This gentleman could be making $200,000.
Got it.
Can you do that? Why don't we just give him another title?
He'll be making more. He'll be making more than the mayor.
Then that wouldn't be saving money then.
Right.
Because the consolidation thing was to save money, I think.
Once again, everything is a discussion. How is this going to work? Does he know, can he handle both jobs? How much is his pay going to be? These are the things that the mayor needs to ask the council.
Who is the highest paid full-time person in the city government?
Well,
I'm talking about just regular salary. I'm not going to talk about somebody on the line working overtime. I'm talking about a point, who in general.
For the political officials, the mayor is the highest paid official.
Okay.
But there are people that are civil service people in the city that do make more than even the. I don't know if they make more than the mayor, but they definitely make more than the controller, which is the next highest paid.
So there are people in between the mayor and the controller.
There are, and there are because of their time that they've worked with the city, and it's civil service.
Right. So if we're looking at these positions, if we're looking at these positions, combining these positions, making this position, he will probably be the highest. If you're looking at it, I mean, if you're just taking 100,000,
right,
he'll be the highest paid person in the city government.
Right. The concept is that we could save $50,000 by combining the two roles. I'm just making up, his salary being $150.
Right.
We could save $50,000 if you combine the roles. So I get that.
The word is the word on the street is 170.
What's the but?
I heard it was 180, but I don't.
Well, I wouldn't know. Listen, I have a question. I have a question before you go to the caller real quick, because I know that AJ, he said the website. I got the website, but what is it that individuals, when they look at a charter, what is the information that is in a charter? Because I like to
very
break
good
it
question.
down.
That's a great question.
Right.
So back when the city was formed. And it's kind of like the Bible, right? And in Genesis, it says there was the earth, and on day one this was done. So the charter's kind of the same thing. It kind of says that Mount Vernon is a city. Mount Vernon is a city bordered by the Hutchinson River and the Bronx River, and in the city there are these assets. And in the city, there needs to be somebody who will run the city, and those people will be the council, and that council will be elected. And their elections will be every 4 years, and the person that's going to run the city by the request of the council is a mayor, and that mayor will serve 4 years. So the charter kind of sets up how the city is, what the controls are, and then it goes on from there. Then it gets a little bit deeper, and then the second portion of that book is the code, which tells you all of the individual rules for DPW and what days garbage. Not that deep, but what other commissioners are and just more specifics. But that's what the charter and the code is. But the charter is what really sets up the city, and people don't get it twisted. Some Yonkers is different than Mount Vernon.
So is New Rochelle, evidently.
New Rochelle is different than Mount Vernon, right? So New Rochelle has a daytime manager. So even though Norm Branson is the mayor, he doesn't run the city on a day-to-day basis. He's really the head of the council in New Rochelle. In Yonkers, you have a mayor, and in Yonkers, you have deputy mayors. And the deputy mayors don't have to live in Mount Vernon. And if the mayor passes or is out of town, the deputy mayor that could be appointed from anywhere runs the city. That's Yonkers. But you can't get a Big Mac at Burger King, right? So you can't do that in Mount Vernon. In Mount Vernon, when the mayor is out of town, the city council president is the acting mayor. The city council pro tem is the acting city council president, and that's the succession of power in Mount Vernon.
So technically, when the mayor is out of town, you are the acting mayor.
That's
specifically.
Correct. That's correct. Automatically, and he all he has to do is say he's going out of town, and the succession goes
And
right
then
It's
your-
just
into
like, it's just
and
like
your
at the
honor, and
school,
at that time, then
when the
your honor.
principal's out, I'm the person in charge of the whole.
Now,
Now, do you think you are, or you truly are? You doing like a, are you technically in charge, or you
hide it.
like, I'm in charge now? Well, how's
Nah.
it go?
No,
Right.
that with the principal tells you that she's not going to be in the building. She emails everyone to say that the immediate supervisor is.
And
City
you know, when the
attorney
mayor's out
question.
of town, the council president isn't like, you're fired, I'm
Right,
doing
right.
this, I'm
I don't
doing
do
that.
that. I don't do
It's-
none of
it's
that.
really more
People
or
come
less-
to you when there's emergencies.
Right.
Da.
Right, and you know, but you know, nowadays, back in the day, you know, there was no communicating, right? So if the mayor was driving down south, you can't call him. Nowadays, if the mayor's out of town, even if he's overseas, it's a phone call away. It's a email away. He can still run the city from afar. So times have changed, and change is good. But you know, you just can't change it on your own.
So Brenda shared the link to the. I think that's the link to the charter and the code.
Yeah.
And she also posted the Phil Reisman article where the mayor was quoted saying, "This is like about Spezio. Spezio is not on the city payroll. He is an honorary deputy commissioner. Keyword honorary, helping the police department fundraise. That's it."
yeah, but there's no such thing. See, this is the problem. There's no such thing as honorary. And then if he's going to be and if he's going to change, and if he's going to be a part, then he's going to take Ward's position. Ward didn't have an honorary position. Ward carried a badge, and he did everything. Just like Sam explained it. You know, I mean, and it's there. And I think that what we're trying to do is telling people to educate themselves. Read the charter. Educate yourself. Now, my question is, did the mayor have any talk with you about this deputy mayor position, which he first started out that there was supposed to be 5 of them?
Yes, he said on WFAS he was appointing 4 more on his morning slot on Thursdays.
Yeah, well, no, the mayor has not had any discussions officially with the council. The only time to really have those meetings is either through a letter or come to the council during one of the council work sessions and sit down and discuss what, you know, he or she wants to do, and then we vote on it. The council.
Oh,
has to vote
so
on it.
there's no like 3 men in the room like Cuomo?
Well, you know.
And after this, I want to get into
heard
our
about
caller.
this,
I want to
right?
get into the caller after this.
No, I mean, you know, council meetings are public, so when we meet tomorrow night, the mayor could request to come up to the council, and that's a public meeting. We already noticed that meeting. The public knows that we're going to meet there, and the mayor
Public,
can,
like I can sit in it. Public.
yes. On the Tuesday night meetings, the public can come in and sit in and listen on our discussions. The public cannot speak at our Tuesday night work sessions.
That's like with the
but
Board
you
of
can
Ed.
observe, right?
Right.
You definitely can.
It's like with the
observe.
Board of Ed, right?
No, well, the Board of Ed,
You
according
have
to-
one day. You have one at one time where you could just sit down and just listen, and then they go and they come back, and then that's.
well, I
when you
think
can talk.
I think Leslie Zamore said that they were going to change that.
Well, here we go with changes again. Right?
Yeah, they were going to change.
Why?
They were going to look at, because people were complaining at Mount Vernon specifically that they were wasn't able to talk and receive, like the city council meetings where people can say
Right, but
what
they
had
have
to say.
2 chance. They have 2. There's 2 different times.
Well,
when you get it.
I'm only just
Right.
I'm,
There's a
I
time
can
when you
only
get to
say
talk,
what
and
he
there's a
said.
time when you got to listen.
Right. Well,
I want to get it now. We have a caller
Yeah,
on the line.
let's go to the caller.
Caller, you people before politics. Thank you for waiting patiently. Please state your name and your purpose for calling. Caller. Going once, going twice.
Hello,
Oh, there
Yes.
you go. Please state your name and your purpose for calling, please.
my name is Sharon Lockett, and I would like to speak with the City Council President.
Okay.
How are you?
hello.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
here.
he said yes. He's waiting for
I'm
your
here.
question.
How are
yes.
you?
Okay. Hi, my name is Sharon Lockett, and this is what I would like to say. I'm calling in reference to an incident which occurred in August, the last week of August of last year.
Can I ask you one question, please? Whatever
Certainly
the noise
may.
is in the background, can you turn it down?
I did. I turned it off.
Okay,
thank
thank
you.
you very much. Go ahead.
I'll start again. I'm calling in reference to an incident which occurred in the last week of August of 2015 in the city clerk's office in reference to physical and verbal abuse. This incident was investigated by Human Resource along with an outside consultant agency, and it was determined that her rights were indeed violated. A copy of that finding was given to the individuals involved, as it also was given to the city council, leaving disciplinary actions up to the council. You stated, sir, at your council meeting that the council will protect the citizens of Mount Vernon, but what about the employees of the city against physical and verbal abuse? You personally asked me at one city council meeting to please calm down on my rhetoric about this matter, and it was being taken care of, investigated into and being taken care of by the city council. So my question to you is, what indeed has been done? Has there been any action taken in reference to George Brown, and if not, why not?
So
who's the person on the line?
Didn't.
Can you repeat
say your name?
darling?
Can you say your name one more time before you answer the question?
I'm sorry?
Can you say your name one more time? That was the question.
Aaron Lockett.
Okay. Go ahead, Marcus.
So, Mrs. Lockett, I'm gonna say this to you clear, and I'm gonna say this to anybody else who's out there, and I'm not afraid to say it. If there was a incident that happened on City Hall property between two individuals, that is not something that the council will make a decision on its own. So there's an investigation going on. There is some legalese that's going back and forth. And I know a lot of people think they know everything that happened, and I'm not claiming to know what happened either. What I'm saying is that there's an investigation going on. It is being looked into. It is no different than any other workplace. And I find it hard to believe that people would think that they could pressure the council to make a decision just because they think they knew what happened. I'm not claiming to know what happened. What I'm saying is that there's an investigation going on, and I'm going to let that investigation take its course. I've heard.
No, I understand exactly what you're saying, but the investigation was indeed taken care of by Human Resources as well as an outside agency.
So you seem to know more.
Let me finish, please.
Well, you seem to know more than anybody else, but you're still trying to.
The investigation that's going on now was supposed to be by the federal agency, which is an outside, investigation, which had nothing to do with.
So what do you want me to do?
I'm asking you as the president of the city council, what, if any, action is the city council going to take, as you told me they will take, in reference to this particular situation?
So you just finished telling me that there's a federal investigation going on. Is that what you're telling me to be true?
I'm asking you, what action are you taking as the city council president?
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question first? So you said there was an investigation, and the councilman said he's waiting for the investigation to be over. So do you know that the investigation was complete? And if so, that there was wait. And the second part of and that there was something. The results of the investigation was actually submitted to the city council, and if so, when?
The investigation was supposed to have been completed by the Human Resources of the City Hall, and a letter went to the individuals involved, as well as a letter went to City Council from Human Resources that they felt that the person's rights were indeed violated.
So I'm going to ask you again, because really, I shouldn't be talking about an incident that happened at City Hall with you on, just because you're calling in, or with the public. This is not a public issue, ma'am. It's not. So I'm not going to talk about individual things that are going on in City Hall.
Let me ask a question. Was those findings referred over to the police department?
That I don't know. All of the I know the police department indeed is aware of it, because charges were indeed brought over to the police department.
Then I would think that Human Resources, if Human Resources, and if there was an investigation from the state, the natural order of things, not only to the city council, but it would have been turned over to the police department, because from my understanding of this case, where people were talking about it, there was a police report. So if
there was.
Yeah.
There is a police report.
There's a police report.
Okay.
There's a police report on it. So, right, the police were called. I do know that. So
there was a police report not only by the person involved, but also by her co-workers. And the person I'm referring to, she is my daughter.
No, and I understand that, ma'am. And what I'm saying is, only thing I'm saying, if there were findings, that report should have also been sent over to the police department, because the police department will use that report on their decision in pressing charges. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Now let me ask a question.
That's all I'm saying. That report, if that report is the way you say that report is, then that report should have been taken to the police department and to the DA's office.
I understand, but she did not file criminal charges. She did not file criminal charges.
Well, she
Okay,
should
so
have.
I have a question.
Well, she should have.
Okay, so
Go ahead,
hold
Cynthia.
on. So here's the thing. So I get things like this all the time. I don't work at City Hall, but I work in a school, and there's sometimes when we tell parents, listen, you have to go to the police and you have to make the charge. And then once you make the charge with the police, when they're doing their investigation, that's when they come into City Hall and they have to get information out of City Hall in regards as to what happened. So one of the first things that I remind a lot of individuals is that you have to file charges. You have to make a stink with the police, especially if it was something that was criminal. If it
Okay,
was a
the charges were
violation-
indeed filed, as the police also asked for her co-workers to file, to write letters in the event that they saw anything, which all of them did do.
Right.
But, the last that we heard in the last letter that she received was indeed from Human Resources, letting her know that they felt that her charges were indeed valid charges,
Right.
and a letter was given to her as it was to George Brown, as it was to the city council.
Well,
Okay,
And
so
okay.
but they shouldn't have involved city.
Let me ask a question then. What I'm asking you then, it is not up to the city council
No.
to, in other words,
No, if-
to suspend him or whatever.
No, ma'am.
That's not their responsibility?
Ma'am, listen, you're talking criminal activity. You should have went to the police. You should have went to the county police. You should have went to the DA's office, and let them deal with it. Now, you could put a complaint. You could do a formal complaint to the city council, but you're talking criminal charges here. You're talking criminal charges. That report should have went. You should have walked that report to the police department. And I'm telling you, as law enforcement, I would have took it to county police, because I would have looked into saying that there was a conflict of interest because of the fact that you're looking to charge someone that works for the city.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And have the DA have their own investigators to investigate this situation. I'm just being honest with you. I'm just being honest with you.
And I think the only thing that the council person,
there's been individuals in Mount Vernon who, instead of going to the Mount Vernon police, they went over the head. Exactly what Damon said. They went over the head to outside agency because of the conflict of interest, and they got better results like that.
Well, they did initially go to the Mount Vernon Police Department. They were told to do that, and she did go to the Mount Vernon Police Department initially. She didn't go over the head of anybody. She went to the Mount Vernon Police Department.
No,
Right, I'm talking about over the head of Mount Vernon Police Department.
Okay, we can't. I don't want to spend a lot of time here, and you can. My email address is blackwestchester@gmail.com. That's one you can email me. Two, as far as the councilman, and I'm speaking from my opinion here, and the councilman can correct me if I'm wrong. I think the only
what is your name, please? I just want to know your name.
A.J. Woodson. I am A.J. Woodson. I am the
good
editor-in-chief of Black Westchester, and I am one of the hosts of this show.
No, I know your name. I know your name.
Okay, so as far as the councilman is concerned, I think, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, I think the only thing you could do is kind of have a meeting with him and see if he can look into the situation and whatever. But like Damon said, you have to go to the police. If you went to the police and there's supposed to be an investigation, you need to go to the police and find out where the investigation is.
She need guidance from somebody else other than you need guidance from someone.
You might want an attorney to get involved.
ma'am. You need to get a lawyer.
You might want to get an attorney involved in this.
Yeah, I would advise you, and this is Damon Jones, I will advise you to get a lawyer. Because, see, technically, you only have 90 days after the incident to file any lawsuit.
A notice or something?
A notice of claim in. So this has been going on a long time, and I've told people that have been around your daughter about this incident and what they needed to do. And the first thing she needed to get a lawyer. When you're dealing with issues with city government and police, you have to get a lawyer. You have to get a lawyer.
I I appreciate very much what you're saying. I think, in light of what you just said, I think the biggest problem that I have, and I I don't want to prolong this, but let me just say this if you don't mind. The biggest problem that I have is at the city council meeting that I attended, and I spoke at that council meeting, and after it was over, I spoke with the city council president, and he indeed said to us, he said, just do me a favor. He said, calm down your rhetoric. Please calm down your rhetoric. We're investigating this, and the city council will take care of it. That's what he told me, and that's what I was relying on. I was, hoping that what he said was indeed the case. Therefore, after she received a letter stating that it was deemed that her charges were valid, it was my impression at that point in time that it was up to the city council to do whatever they had to do as far as disciplinary actions was concerned.
And lastly, and I'm going to go on to the next topic. Lastly, my email address is blackwestchester@gmail.com. I have invited the individuals involved to contact me with all their documents so I can look into it if any way from a press perspective, but I have not heard from anybody, so that's why there's no word out there. So we want to thank you for calling, and I'm asking your questions for the councilman, and thank you for listening to People Before Politics. Have a blessed day.
You likewise.
Okay. So, Marcus, any follow-up, anything you want to say, anything you want to say to that or anything else?
People believe that the council, a lot of people come before the council and ask us to do things that we cannot do. And, we're just the council. So we're definitely not going to get involved in personnel matters or legal issues that need to be fixed by other departments. And really that's it. I told, I'm not going to comment much more on that. It's a personnel issue. It is being looked into. And the last place you want to try to attack the council is on Facebook or in council chambers or on the radio when it's a personal issue that you need to deal with.
So let me ask you, just for anybody who's listening who may face anything similar to this or anything like this in the future, what would your advice be as far as approaching a council person on it? What would your advice be?
So I'm married, and if my wife had a problem at work, I wouldn't rely on the principal or her manager, and I definitely wouldn't go to her manager and wait by the car or talk at a PTA meeting to try to get some action. It's just not the right way to do it. And it's heartening because other people are listening to stuff and it's like, this has nothing to do with the city. I mean, the
reason I ask because
people
just don't know.
Well, people think.
I think people do know. People just think that they can bombard elected officials and do whatever they want, and that's just not the way to do it. It's just not the way to do it.
Yeah, I agree, but I think people would think it has to do with the city because it's involving incident in City Hall.
Right, and that's why I said that's why I made that link to the school. There's a lot of things that go on where parents come in, and the first thing I say is, "Did you call the police?" No, well, I'm at the police. I can't.
Right, and I wasn't there to witness.
I can't do anything. Right. You have to call the police, and like you said, Damon, you have to get a lawyer, and you have to.
I said that.
Police. Go over the thing.
You know what? I said that to those people that were championing her cause from the beginning, that she has to get a lawyer, and a lawyer is needed.
Is this the one we was going to have a press conference with?
Right, and then the press conference went down.
And my point is that this is not a press conference issue. All right, this is not. Most people in the city of Mount Vernon are looking to come to the council for city-related things. This is not a city-related thing. We have things in the city that every resident is concerned about. That's what we deal with. We're not the judge and jury.
All right, let me play devil's advocate. I don't really want to go to the police. Is there someone else other than police above that person that I can talk to within city government? Is there anybody that
take it to White Plains, man?
Yeah.
You got to take it to you got to take it to the DA.
No, I'm asking that question because people think the answers are in City Hall. That's why.
Either you take it to the DA. Either you take it to the DA's office. See, I don't know how long it took. That report from Human Resources, but I'm just hearing about it, and it's clearly over 90 days. So that's why you have to, when incidents like this, you have to go to a lawyer. I mean, it's simple as that. And then, get the police report. And even if you do a notice of claim, just a notice of claim, just to put one in, does not mean you're going to sue, but you need to have that notice of claim in within a 90-day period of the day that you felt that you've been wrong.
And from the time you put the notice of claim, how long do you have to actually put the suit in?
Well, I mean, some people say 2 to 3 years, depending. Maybe a year after that. It depends.
I'm asking people
but the point,
don't know.
But the point is, you got to put that notice of claim in within the 90-day period. That's key.
Without that, you have nothing.
Without that, you just talking in the wind.
Now I want to say too. We were approached. Black Western was approached because she said the name about allegations against our city clerk, George Brown. I've actually had a conversation with him, but I just want to say, Black Western has never written anything because I've asked everybody who's ever come up to us for some sort of proof. Some copy of a suit or
like your
a copy
story.
of
Give me a story.
right. So I couldn't do a story on something, but I have talked to the city clerk, and I told him, and I'm saying because I've told him that I've heard the allegations against you. Now nobody's giving me proof, but once I have proof, then we'll have a conversation.
Here's the thing, AJ. Yeah. I'm here on a Sunday afternoon. I'm not here to talk about something that happened that none of us were witness to.
Right.
So let's talk about stuff that really relates. And people are like, what's going on? What are they talking about? Right. Let's talk about stuff that people are like, oh, I didn't. Let's talk about some stuff that people can relate to.
Well, I have a question.
Sure.
So on Sanford Boulevard, right?
Here it comes.
I take that. Yeah, that's my area right there. Sanford Boulevard, heading towards Mount St. Michael Academy. That's my
Mount St. Michael. Where's that?
Mount St. Michael is on the border.
I'm
of
joking.
Mount
I
Vernon
went to the Mount.
I know.
I'm a big Mount. Listen, the Mount. I'll tell you why I love the Mount recently. But go ahead.
So, en route, that's my route every day, back and forth. I noticed that right after, I think it's Union, that there's like storefronts there now.
Yes. There's a that building had a fire, and what people may not see, Mount Vernon has little gems in it, and that is one of Mount Vernon's gems. At the department stores in Manhattan and around the country, they have displays that are in the center, and they're very attractive, and you're wondering, wow, most of those displays are made right there at that factory, and that factory burnt down. And
what factory is that?
I forget. I think it's Munrod. Is it Munrod?
Okay.
I think it's Munrod. So they burnt down, and what they decided to do was we wanted to lighten up the streetscape over there, so it is not just a blank wall.
Right.
So between the buildings department, planning department, zoning board, architectural review board, we got them to build a building that had storefronts at it. But unfortunately, it looks like that the building isn't complete. And they haven't put the stores in there that they were originally approved to put in. So at some point...
So they have approved stores to go in there?
They have approved stores that need to be going in there at some point. And again, the concept is that...
Gucci going in there?
I would hope so. I would hope so. But, the intent
Cynthia
is...
be there every day. Not every day, every day.
Louis Vuitton store right next to it. The intent is that,
like Magnolia Bakery.
No,
not that.
Oh, yeah, not Magnolia. Not Magnolia.
No, we're not going to compete with...
Cupcake Cutie Boutique.
We like Cupcake.
Yeah, their second location can go there. Yeah.
Well, at least the city council likes it.
We do like it. But that is actually the intent. We want smaller.
Right. Little.
I caught you. I'm with you. I caught you. Everybody else there. I caught you.
Mount Vernon needs boutique stores that people like us can start, and it's affordable to start. And and then they grow, and maybe we have another store in Brooklyn. That's what we're looking to do. And hold on, before you do that, the idea is to make Sanford Boulevard a walkable community again.
Okay.
So back in the day, there was supermarkets on Sanford Boulevard. Back when supermarkets were like 5,000 square feet, 7,500 square feet. Now you got to have a 20,000, right? You
need Gristedes.
Right, and there's no local stores
Caller,
anymore.
please
so
hold.
We're looking to bring back those local stores, and we want to make it walkable. So if you're walking from the Mount and your son wants to go to TD Bank, let's say, because he's got that his check or whatever,
he have it in there.
Well, we're hoping he can walk through and have stores along the way. He can get a hot dog, pick up his girlfriend, eat in a restaurant, stop off at McDonald's, whatever, and come back. And it's a walkable, so now people are walking around, because your neighborhood, we need more stuff. You shouldn't have to drive to Stop and Shop to get bread. you should be able to, walk the neighborhood and be comfortable that way.
Right.
And we've lost that, and we
Maybe
want
like
that
a little
back.
farmer's market.
That would be awesome.
That would be
I would
awesome.
love a Trader Joe's in Mount Vernon
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's we need that smaller, wholesome foods thing. We just don't have that. And we need that back.
All right.
We need that
All
back.
right. Yeah, that was my question. So what about remember when you and I spoke about the Barnes and Nobles that you was gonna build over there by Gramerton Avenue?
I would love a Barnes and Noble. We need a bookstore. We need a bookstore. But here's another thing. People say we need this in Mount Vernon. We need this. The council doesn't recruit these stores to come in.
Right.
Who does?
It's once again, the council doesn't have a full-time job in the city, so it's really up to the mayor to get a planning department to plan the city out, design the city, and then find a way to get in touch with those stores that fit.
Would the Chamber of Commerce have anything to do with
And
that
the
too?
Chamber of Commerce is a partner, so we have partners that we need to work with. I know Dwayne is working with the mayor now, doing more and more, and we need that because our businesses are our livelihood.
What about when I remember when you were I don't know if this is when you were running or this was just some conversations that we had with the vision of what would take place at the Metro North. I think it's the Metro North in Fleetwood, though.
Yes, well,
over there by Mount Vernon Avenue. Mount Vernon, is that Mount
Vernon West? Maybe?
Mount Vernon West.
So one thing that the council has looked to do, and actually we're having a public hearing on Wednesday regarding Mount Vernon West. We're looking to do a thing called form-based planning for Mount Vernon West. We know that the train stations are our gem, and
Oh, yes.
we can afford more housing by our train stations. So we're looking to rezone the triangle down by Mount Vernon West so that taller apartment buildings can go in. We can create more stores at the lower level because the intent is to get people that can't afford Manhattan to live 20 minutes out, not need a car, find a nice apartment, go to their coffee shop at the ground level, get on the train every Monday, go into Manhattan. On Friday they come back and they live in Mount Vernon. And that's going to give us a lot of tax dollars. We don't think it's going to impact the inner cities of Mount Vernon, meaning the neighborhoods away from the train station. But we need to build up on the train stations. That's why I'm proud to approve the building that's going on at 42 West Broad up in Fleetwood. That's going to be a 16-story building, and I get it. People don't want tall buildings; they don't like the look of it. I get it, but Mount Vernon needs to build our tax base, and I'm certain that if people were to sit in the city council seat like I have and understand finance and understand planning like I have, you would know that, just like I know, just like Clinton Young knew, just like Mayor Davis knew, that we need to build up our tax base, and our train stations are the way to do it. Everybody knows that that's our gem.
And if I'm not mistaken, you saw how that was done in New Rochelle.
Well, we missed our mark. So New Rochelle built up, White Plains built up.
Everybody around us
These
built up.
are cities. So we are a city. Yonkers didn't build high, but they built Ridge Hill. They're building. They
Right.
and they have that Central Avenue where we all shop. Tax base. Mount Vernon needs. We don't have. We're not going to build Best Buy. Well, we did build Best Buy. We're not going to build a whole bunch of stores or retail. So we have to build up. Residential is our mark because we're 25 minutes away from Manhattan.
Yeah, New
That's
Rochelle.
our
New
gem.
Rochelle really rocked it.
And
when
they're
they
going to
did
rock
that.
it more. New Rochelle got
Yeah.
a planner from Mount Vernon who lives in Mount Vernon to redesign their downtown.
Wow.
And they took out a full page ad in the Wall Street Journal, and they got a lot of feedback from that. New Rochelle is going to build up again. So anybody
I've
that
seen,
thinks that the right
because
thing
I
to
went to
do-
Iona College. I went to school in North Shore. I don't know if anybody know that. I went to St. Gabriel,
We got two callers.
and then I went to Iona College for undergrad and grad, and I just seen just the transformation right before your eyes.
I tell people to go to the New Rochelle train station at about 6 o'clock and watch the young people, the 40-year-olds, the 30-year-olds, getting off the train, walking across the street
Yes.
to their apartment in
Yes.
that Avalon building or
Yes.
whatever. So
Yes.
this is tax dollars that is
Yes.
not really impacting the single-family homes, the two-family homes where we know Mount Vernon to be. This is our tax out. So I'm telling you folks, come to the council, plan a meeting to sit with me or any of the council members and learn why we know that building these buildings, these dense buildings next to our train stations is the right way for us to increase our tax base.
We got two callers. I want to get into one of the callers, and we also have an online question.
Tax base.
We got two callers. Please turn your radio or whatever down, caller.
Yes, I don't have anything on.
Please turn your radio or whatever down, caller.
Yes.
Okay, there. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, there's two callers on the line. One of y'all need to turn whatever's in the background down.
I don't have anything on, so it's not me.
Okay. The other caller, can you mute your phone or turn everything down? Okay, caller, we'll try to hit. State your name and your purpose for calling, please.
My name is Denise Branch, and I would like to say something about a discussion earlier in reference to the what's going on with City Hall. Now, to my knowledge, and I've read as much of the charter, I'm not legal, but it's not that complicated. Isn't there a residency requirement for commissioners, appointed positions?
Yes and maybe, and I say that because it would always be best to have the commissioners live in Mount Vernon, but there are exceptions that I can't speak to specifically, but we do like it if at least those commissioners live in the county, or I think there's a radius around that those commissioners can live. So it's not ideal for commissioners to live outside of Mount Vernon. We want them to be homegrown or at least invest in the city.
Right.
But there are exceptions, and we've seen those in every administration. So one thing that I'm never going to do is critique one without comparing to all. So we've had those exceptions many times over, and we probably will continue to see that. So, but I do hear your point, and I do understand your question.
Okay. That's number one. Number two, I did read that you cannot hold those two positions. The fire department is a separate commissioner, and each commissioner, as I read it, it's a full-time job for each commissioner. You cannot share the position.
Yes.
Because
and again,
it indicates that you have to give your full-time attention to the department that you have been appointed to as commissioner. Yes, and thank you for that. And I'm not looking to cut you off, but I'm looking to answer your question. I agree to what it says in the charter, and what I'm saying is that we may need to make adjustments. I think Councilman Thomas's concept is worth discussion. I'm not saying that it would go that it would go forward.
Mayor Thomas.
You
said Councilman Thomas.
I'm sorry. It's 4 years I've been saying that.
I know. He's actually the mayor now.
Absolutely,
yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
So Mayor Thomas's concept is well received by me if that job can be done. But the council needs to look into that, do the study, and give that approval. That's all that I've said. Saving money here and there. If it can be done, great. If it can't, it cannot be. We gotta follow what's in the laws of the city of Mount Vernon, which starts with the charter.
Thank you very much for your call.
I just have one more question.
Make it quick.
Is there a resume? Does anybody vet these people? Who vets the people he's appointing? From what I am reading and what I have investigated, Mr. Spezio does not belong anywhere near Mount Vernon.
Right.
So who is doing the vetting?
And we thank you, and that has to be the last question, but we thank you for calling, and I'm going to allow him to answer, and please continue to listen to People Before Politics. Go ahead, Marcus.
Thank you, Ms. Branch. So again, in the charter, the mayor has these responsibilities and these roles that are within his or her power, and appointing people to certain roles is one of them. So it's not about really vetting, because because he can appoint pretty much anybody he wants to those roles. Now, he would be foolish to appoint somebody that doesn't have the right credentials. So we all hope that he's making the right choice with who he appoints. But the actuality is no. The council does not check the appointments that he makes. We don't have advise and consent as you do see in other municipalities. So it is within his right to appoint who he wants to that role.
And we have a question from the chat room, and the question is, what is the protocol? Do people have to attend? Do people have to attend the planning board meeting in order to submit suggestions / petitions / nominations for new / specific businesses, or should we email someone in charge?
That's a great question. And I don't want to disappoint people, but business and city government are kind of separate. So a lot of people come to the council asking sort of permission to run a business. So I'm a businessman too. You don't have to get approval from the city or the council to run your business. You can go ahead and do that as long as it's not illegal. So if you want to start a radio show out of a storefront, you don't have to get permission. Now, what you do need to do is come into City Hall and ask the questions. I recommend anybody going to the buildings department to say, hey, I want to start this at this location. Are there any restrictions? That's where you do that. What I find is that a lot of people feel like that if the council approves it, they have the go ahead to do it. And again, it doesn't work like that. Go to the buildings department, make sure that your location fits in, or they may send you over to the planning department, because if you need more space, or if there are restrictions as to the zoning where you want to start your business, those are the two best places to go if you want to start a business and you're afraid that it may not be legal in the great city of Mount Vernon. But great question. And I always encourage people, if you want to start a business, get it started and find your way to make it work, because the greatest ideas were not officially aligned at the start. Usually you have to find a way to get them going. So that's a great question, though.
Thank you, and continue. Like I said, we are now monitoring the chat room, trying to do it all. Part two, the person said, if we want a bookstore in the city, do we ask the mayor to pursue it?
Well, that's a flip side to the question. So the mayor really shouldn't be. Well, it's not his initial job to look for businesses in the city. What we do try to do is to help businesses if they're coming in. So I know I'm kind of double talking. If you have a business and you have an idea, you should go to the city to get an understanding as to would the community adhere to this business. You may get good insight from from people in City Hall, but that doesn't mean that you should or shouldn't start the business there. That's just getting advice for some people. And I'll give you an example. We at the Mount Vernon West site, we had people that came into the city and really thought it was a good idea to put low-income housing. And we told them we don't think that's a great idea. We don't think the community is going to like that. And they went ahead and wanted to do it anyway. They were about to spend a lot of money. And they finally picked up a consultant. And the consultant told them, this is not going to work. You're going to waste your money. And they eventually walked away. And we have a better plan in place. So that's a business where they're talking about putting millions of dollars up front to invest in Mount Vernon. And based on the advice of people in city government, they were, talked out of it because it was not a good fit for where we are in Mount Vernon right now. So bookstore is great. And here's another thing. People suggest things that should go into Mount Vernon that don't have a dime. So if a bookstore needs to come to Mount Vernon, you need to look around in other locales and see where there are successful bookstores and what it takes to make a successful bookstore. A small bookstore in Mount Vernon may be okay, but I think the best bookstore we have in Mount Vernon is the library, really. Use the library the best that you can.
Can we buy the books in there? I owe a
They
book.
do actually have sales
You
of
owe
books
money on
when
your
they
books?
change.
Oh, my.
They actually,
No,
well,
it's only
you don't
one
say
book.
that.
It's only one
The
book?
title of it is called Suitcase. I had to read it when I was studying to be a social worker. I never brought
How
it
many
back.
years ago was that?
I never brought it back.
How many years ago was that?
The library police are going to
I was like 1992. I'll wait for the library police to come to the door. Knock on the door.
Damon K. Jones, do you have any questions for our council president since we have him in the house? I know you have a bunch of questions. Well, we're 8:20.
Listen,
we started 20 minutes late, so
I have an announcement.
We started 20. No, I really don't, because he has been gracious enough to take a lot of the callers. Questions, but some
Oh, we got another
I
call.
think Brenda Crump asked a question about the emergency room, the emergency preparedness room.
Yes. At,
when is that going to be open? And
Hello?
And she
Caller, please hold. Caller, please hold.
That's a great question too, and I wish I had an answer for that. My answer is I don't know, and don't be disappointed that I don't know stuff that's going on in the city. I did take a walkthrough of it. It looks good from a strategical standpoint, but I do know it's not open yet. I know there's some pending issues that need to be resolved, and I've requested at one point to get those issues resolved, because on a day like today, right before this snowstorm, that would have been a great place to kind of have a nucleus for that whole management. You know, the mayor's conference room really isn't fully equipped to handle all of the stuff that we need to handle. You know, we're blessed in Mount Vernon to be Mount Vernon, to where we don't have the floods that a lot of other people are having right now. So, you know, we complain about a lot, but we have a great city, and let's hope that we don't really need that management facility like some communities really need, and heaven forbid we have a terrorist attack that affects us. And, you know, a lot of that money was provided by the federal government to build that after 9/11. So as much as I would like it open to be ready for business, but let's hope we don't ever really need it.
All right.
AJ, you had a caller?
Yeah, we have a caller. Caller, sir. Welcome to People Before Politics. Please state your name and your purpose for calling.
Hey, Jay, what's up? Dwayne.
Dwayne Brown, Chamber of Mount Vernon Chamber of Commerce President. How are you, sir?
Dwayne?
It's Sunday, so I'm really D&K events on Sunday. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What is he doing?
I've never heard the word city charter so much, man. I'm going to see if I can get a T-shirt that says city charter.
Because Dwayne always talking about city charter.
Yeah, you read the charter. The charter's, I mean.
Word, I'm going to get hashtag city charter.
There you go.
But you got to go, and I'm driving in the snow. So I just want to say, Marcus, President Griffin, you're doing I think you do a great job. There's a balance in Mount Vernon, because I respect so many of you. And when I see so many of you sometimes go at each other, I find myself literally sometimes don't know what to do, because so many of you have respect for and know you're all passionate about what you do. So, you know, let's just keep Mount Vernon first. And I think if we do that, all of the other stuff will work itself out. We do have to remember that when we do promote the city, though, you know, Facebook is becoming an issue sometimes, because people realize other people read that, other people Google things and see certain things. So investors, I'm talking from a businessman outside of president of the chamber, that I invested my money here. I have other people invested their money here. And when we go out to market Mount Vernon and we can't get people to come into the city to do business with us, I think government officials should take note of that. I think activists should take note of that. You know, we need other people from Mount Vernon to visit Mount Vernon so we can make a living. So just let's keep that in mind when we're, you know, disagree. You know, no one can agree all the time on what a person should do or shouldn't do. I respect that fully. But also keep there's other things that we're messing up. You know, government people get paid. You know, if people go into work tomorrow, it snows, you know, they're going to get paid. If a client can't get their customer to come see them because a customer feels that they're going into a city that doesn't make sense to go in, they don't get paid. That affects their kids, that affects their wives, that affects their family. So just think about that when we, you know, as we have open discussions. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, Dwayne, and I thank you for that. And I'm going to give you a very, very serious, not example, because I'm not going to give specifics, but we had a situation in Mount Vernon that we really would have benefited from. And when the business had a question about the city and they did some research because they were challenged on something, when they did the research into Mount Vernon, they were scared away. And I'm talking a multi-million-dollar business that we could have been working with, influential business, and because of what they read on the research in Mount Vernon, we scared them away. And it got specific, and I called the business directly, and the lady told me without any hesitation that there's no way we can do business and get our stock traded company in the middle of this mess. and I had to hang up from that lady, and it was a loss, definitely a loss for the city of Mount Vernon. So you're right. We have to stop putting on Facebook all of this negative stuff and hating Mount Vernon and living here. There's no way.
Yeah, I mean, it's hurting my marketing dollars.
Exactly.
I'm saying that right now.
Exactly. There's no way you can expect people to live in a city that is great if you keep talking about it so negatively. We have to shine the light on Mount Vernon and know that Mount Vernon is one of the greatest places to live in the world. You cannot go anywhere. Absolutely. You cannot go anywhere in the world without somebody, especially in our age group, in the 40 age group, not knowing the great city of Mount Vernon, New York. And they ask you, who do you know? Denzel? Do you know Hef D? Do you know Al B. Shore? And this is, we have a great, great, great city, and we're ruining it.
Great city. A great business. We're industry strong, retail weak. I understand that, and I know that. And we can't change the retail anytime soon. But we're industry strong. There's a lot of leading industry people. The same place on Stanford Boulevard I heard you talking about, they used to make chairs for the jets. The chairs we sit in when we fly used to come out that building as well. So they made a lot of things in that building. But if we keep on and, listen, a person's only going to be mayor, a person's in politics as long as the people want them there. A man who invests his money here plans to be here for a long time. Because no one invests money for after 4 years. Oh, well, so-and-so's not mayor no more. I'm going to pick up all my stuff and go home. It doesn't work like that for the business people. So just understand that our marketing dollars, when we can't put Mount Vernon on our business cards, and we go to Jersey, Brooklyn, Queens, Europe, wherever we go, and that two words, Mount Vernon, if it's not strong, then we lose the sale. And no one has time to lose sales when they go out on these ventures. No one that I interact with on a day-to-day basis. So I'm a hashtag Spezio, too, because I'm tired of hearing Spezio. So I'm a hashtag Spezio, and I'm going to do a T-shirt for
Chambers.
What's my T-shirt? I'm going to make? Charter T-shirt. I give you PC on it so we can make some money together. And I'm going to make a T-shirt for Spezio. Because, we might as well get paid. We say his name so much, we might as well get paid off for it. And we say Charter so much, I'm a businessman. I want to make some money. So
I love it.
Whoever want to get down with me, let's talk tomorrow. We'll come up with some color schemes and say, Spezio, let's make some money. Because other than that, we make some time.
I have to disagree. I would never have Spezio on any T-shirt. And I have to disagree with you with that. I understand this, and I understand what you're saying, and I get what you're saying. But some people have serious issues, whether they take it out on Facebook or whether
I understand that.
No, let me finish. I allowed you to talk.
Go ahead.
And I didn't say anything. People have serious issues, and those issues. Those issues need to be addressed. Mount Vernon, the history of Mount Vernon, all right, has always been. People have been using it as a memory gland and sucking the life out of Mount Vernon, and the money has been going out of Mount Vernon. So when people see that again, it doesn't matter who the mayor is. When people see that again and they have issues with that, then those issues need to be addressed. All right,
and I agree.
We are a black-run city. Yes, we have white people in it. That's great, but most of all, we're looked at as a black-run city, and if we can't get it right, then black people see some things. I have a problem when people say, "Well, I'm from Mount Vernon." That's great. I have 2 generations I'm raising in Mount Vernon, and I have just as much interest as anybody that
was
born and raised in Mount Vernon or own a home in Mount Vernon, because my wife gives her life to the city of Mount Vernon. All right, so we have to look at the bigger picture on how we're looked at, not just in New York State, not just the country, but globally as being a black-run city. Being a black-run city.
I agree with that.
So when we disagree, it's not personal attacks. It's disagree because we know we can be better. You understand? I don't come from Mount Vernon, but I come from a city where I don't have to march to get my playground fixed. You understand? When I come out one day and I see the backboard is broken, I go home as a child. I come out the next day, it's fixed. It's self-responsibility and self-respect that we need in this city. And we play a lot of games because the city is just a 4x4 square miles, and everybody is related to each other some type of way. And we still can't get it together. Something simple. Something simple. We the only city with a strip joint down the May Fair with 300 something houses of worship, but nobody seems to complain about it. You understand? So we have and people look at that
because they bring in lots of tax.
So I'll be hypocritical if I complain about that because I do a lot of balloons in Susan, and then I leave to go to a church and do balloons there. So I don't want to. I
know. Look, I understand you make. Look, it's not about making money, bro. It's about how it looks and how white folks in the political circle look at us.
And then we wonder why we don't get then we wonder why White Plains can get $100,000 on a grant, right? With the police department, and then Mount Vernon can only get 20, but we got more crime than White Plains because there's a respect issue there.
Right, but I also agree with the fact that the understanding of the out loudness and the battling back and forth, individuals from outside, politicians, individuals that have money, they see this and they don't want to be a part of it. If I'm not mistaken, the person that they was trying to hire as a superintendent, that dude was advised, do not go to Mount Vernon. Right. Because look at what it got. And they didn't have to go to an article. All they did was just go on Facebook. And so it is like out loud.
It hurts us sometimes.
I spoke about all that back and forth on Facebook too.
Yeah, say it again.
I've done. I do brides, and then me and your wife do the same thing. Your wife makes beautiful cupcakes. You know what I'm saying? But if she do a show in White Plains, or we do a show at these. I was at this capsule the other day doing a bridal show. Some brides don't come to Mount Vernon to see me. I got to set up another location to see them, and then that brings my value down. So they saying, if I'm going to come see you in Mount Vernon and get these sets of junkers, if I was charging $10,000, I now only can charge $7,000.
Yeah, but look, it was a business trick because the address always said White Plains. You understand what I'm saying? Until the store was open just in October. But the address always said White Plains because we understood that if you put Mount Vernon, they wasn't going to call. But we have to recognize that, man. When are we going to have, we could point fingers. Everybody can point fingers. But the question is this, when are we going to have the responsibility of self? You understand?
Well,
and that goes for the elected officials. That goes for the rah-rah people that are on Facebook that write articles but don't do anything in the community. That goes for
articles. They write comments.
That goes for the pastors. You understand what I'm saying? That goes for everybody. That goes for everybody who are in the political process, who wants to be in that process. It goes for everybody.
We're coming to the end of close to the show, and we do have.
We got one more caller.
So I thank you for your call, Dwayne, and you can stay.
Yeah, go ahead, man. We call Mark, President Griffith, Cynthia, AJ, Damon. I got a lot of love and respect for all of y'all because you don't have to do what you do. So, and being one of the leaders, it's not easy being a leadership role because people only attack and don't really see the sacrifice you put in. So, salute to y'all and anything I can do to help. You know what I'm saying? We on the same page, all right?
Keep doing what you do, Dwayne.
Yes, sir.
No doubt. I'll talk to you later.
All right now.
Caller, please turn down your TV or whatever that is. Oh, we lost the caller. Hello?
Caller.
Okay, that caller has to call back. There was nobody there. We have like 7 minutes left in the show. Councilman Griffith, was there anything else that you like to speak on about the city moving in a new direction? Things that please you, things that displease you, issues you would like to address, or?
Well, in keeping with what Dwayne said, I'm not going to speak about anything negative. Just know that you won't hear anything negative from the city. About the city from me. What you will hear is correctness, right? We're going to try to find ways to make sure people understand that the council is looking out. The council is considering things. We take our time. We discuss individually what we discuss as a unit of 5 how we want the city to move forward, and we make sure it's happening. Listen, we have a new mayor. We expect new things from this new mayor. We're waiting and hoping that the changes that he's been recommending he can bring to fruition, and it would benefit all of the residents. And you won't hear a thing from the council. The council will sit back and enjoy it just like everybody else. But if something is not going right, whose job is it to check the mayor? You know, people can yell and scream and go on Facebook and complain all they want, but the body that really needs to check the mayor is the council, and that's what we're going to continue to do. The council is we have a stronger council than we've had in years.
Yes, we have an excellent council. The additions
council.
are very well.
That's right. So let me speak about our additions real quick.
Yeah,
First,
go ahead.
Lisa Copeland is a wizard.
Probably the most knowledgeable person in that room.
Even more than me, because Lisa not only has the history of the city of Mount Vernon, being the former city clerk, she's worked up at the state, and her history and knowledge about who sat in those chairs before, not only in her lifetime, but she does the study of understanding who was there and what's molded the city over generations. So Lisa is a wonderful addition to the council. I mean, her knowledge is just extreme. And Andre Wallace, Councilman Andre Wallace, has always been a strong advocate of what he wants to do with the city, and he's hit the ground running. So
yes.
we're very happy to have Andre on board, and you know, the council needs to be a body of people that has expertise in certain things.
Please hold.
We're not looking to have one person that understands everything, but we have a full-fledged council that brings in there. So, you know, I'm finance and planning, and I have some human resource experience now too. We have Andre, who understands development, building, construction. Lisa, who understands legislation and human resources and government. We have Yana Edwards, who has the community and the recreation at heart, and Roberta with the soup kitchen and her outreach to our most needy customers. We have a great body. Our council is stronger than it's been in years, and I'm really excited to be, and I'm humbled to be president for the second year in a row to help the transition of our new mayor. So we're looking for great stuff, and I'm looking for the community to help advise us on what we need to look out for. So when people come to the council and they whisper in our ears, sometimes they yell at us. We sit back and we we're digesting that, and we're gonna talk about those things, and we may not react when you want us to, but don't think we've forgotten, and don't be afraid to come back and remind us about what we need to be doing.
Just go to the caller before I say something.
The caller hung up.
All right.
Shout out
17 seconds.
All right. Well,
shout out to Oscar Davis. He said that he's gonna put in a report about me not returning my library book.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah.
Don't even drive up.
And
shout out Oscar Davis.
And Andre's wife is what?
Come get me.
She's a trustee of some sort. She's on some board, and she laughed as well.
She drives Sanford Boulevard towards the Bronx every morning. They're gonna. What kind of car do you drive?
A white Escape. Come get me.
Got it.
Jesus Christ, it's getting crazy. You know, I want to thank you for coming on, man, because we waited a long time.
Yes,
that's
actually,
number one.
Yes.
It's good. It's good to have you on, man. We only got two people left, and that's Maureen Walker and Reggie Lafayette. So we're working on that.
Right, we even had Ernie Davis come on.
Yeah. Twice.
Yeah, twice.
Actually. He made a
guest appearance at
the end of one of the shows.
He did a drive-by. He did a drive-by appearance.
He did a drive-by on us. And we've been on this show 2 weeks in a row. We've been having a great time. We're having a great time, and Ernie is enjoying somewhat politically retirement.
Can I say something about our former mayor?
Yes.
Our city is going to miss our mayor. And one thing I realized about Ernie Davis that people won't recognize for a number of years from now, this is Black Westchester, right?
Right. Yes, sir.
So Ernie Davis is the mayor that walked in and really protected us, Black Westchester, Black Mount Vernon, from Mount Vernon being something that we just don't want it to be.
That's right.
So Mount Vernon could have been with us not in it. And I am certain that with the strength of Ernie Davis looking out for the people who have lived there for years and invested in Mount Vernon and worked their way up to Mount Vernon, that we still have a city that we can say is ours. So make no mistake about it. I am a Black American, with ancestry from Barbados. But when I walk out into the street, when I walk into corporate America, first thing they see is I'm short. But soon after that, they know that I'm Black. So I'm very proud to be a Black American, and I'm proud to live in a city that, I can walk into the mayor's office and I don't have to convince him how smart I am, whoever it is. We have a great city, and I think Ernie Davis has worked for years to keep it as strong as we want it to be. Mount Vernon is not something that we do not want it to be. It is exactly what we want it to be.
Yeah, that's right. And
it could be better.
We're gonna announce it here that Black History Month, Black Westchester and Councilman Andre Wallace will be doing the first annual
Black History Month celebration.
Black History Month tribute awards, and we're going to be honoring Mayor Ernie Davis, Maureen Walker, and Terrence Rayner. And the keynote speaker of that night will be Dr. Lenora Fulani.
Oh, excellent.
Yes.
Who's a history maker herself.
Absolutely.
As the first Black woman to run for president and to be on the ballot in all 50 states. We know Shirley Chisholm, ran for president, but she wasn't on the ballot on all the 50 states. Dr. Fulani was on the ballot on all 50 states, and she will be the keynote speaker for that night. And the flyers will be going out soon, and the tickets is only $20 to cover the cost of food and everything else.
Buffet and
food and buffet. So we're not charging a lot of money.
Just covering the cost.
Yeah, we're just trying to cover the cost. That's all we're doing. So we hope people in the next week or so, we'll have all the information and people can definitely come and hope the whole city council and people from City Hall. We're not shaking anybody down for $20. We just want them to come out. We just want them to come out and celebrate our history makers.
Actually, yeah.
Not just in Mount Vernon,
but Westchester County.
But Westchester County and the state. Maureen Walker, longest serving Black person and elected official and female. And female.
And Caribbean descent, I think.
Yeah, Caribbean descent. So we got a lot of, we
Ernie
got
was the first Black county legislator. First Black. There was no Black county legislator before Ernie.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
So,
Him and
another guy from Yonkers.
Yeah, from Yonkers. But what I'm saying is, this is just not Mount Vernon history. This
Black
is
Westchester.
This is Black
Westchester's
history.
Listen,
this is state history.
I tell you another quick story. I was at a meeting with the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, and Mr. Farrakhan was speaking, and everybody's eye started turning to the left, and Mr. Farrakhan had to pause and look up, and I'm like, well, who just walked in? And I'm in Harlem, and people, so many people were around.
You were there? Yeah, I was there.
Right, and Mr. Farrakhan said, "Oh, Ernie Davis walked in." I'm like,
wow.
I'm like, people know Ernie Davis
at the
outside
state
of Mount
building.
Vernon?
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, no.
Well, that's what everybody said when you say Mount Vernon. Oh, you're mayor. That's Ernie Davis. He's still the mayor there. He's been there for a while, right?
Legends.
And really, I'm going to talk to Ernie this week, and I hope he'll be a part of the Black Family Summit because he has a lot to say. Being the mayor of a Black city all the years he's been mayor, good, bad, and different. What people think, he has been the mayor, and he has done a lot.
One more story about Ernie. Ernie, the Mayor Davis. I had the pleasure of working with Mayor Davis for the last year, and I'm telling you, Mayor Davis may talk slow, but the information is deep. If you ever have the opportunity to sit and talk with Mayor Davis, if you've never done it before, you need to just sit and talk with Mayor Davis. Yeah, we might have missed the mark speaking to Dr. King or Malcolm X or the other leaders, but we have our leader right there. He has a tremendous.
He does have a wealth of knowledge. Sometimes you got to navigate through some of the storytelling, but he has a wealth. No, and I'm being real.
You got to step through a lot of that stuff.
Yeah,
but you'll get to it. You'll eventually get to it.
But he does have a wealth of knowledge. Now it'll take 4 hours to get out a 22-minute story, but you will have a wealth of knowledge.
Well, before I forget, Brenda Crump, $108 million bond unanimously passed. Trustees voted Thursday, January 21st. The community of Mount Vernon will vote Tuesday, March 15th, and I think we're going to have Leslie Zamora before that.
Yes,
is
he's
coming
gonna
on the
come
show.
talk about that,
He's going to come on the show and talk about the bond and the importance of the bond. So Brenda, I see you, I hear you, and we already scheduled Leslie Zamora to come on the show.
I think it's like the third is probably the third Sunday in February.
Yeah,
but we'll confirm that. Yeah,
so we're going to confirm him coming on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing, one of the callers that was trying to get in, she had a complaint today that she owns a house. I'm not sure the address, but she was trying to call in that she owns a house, and this particular house that she owns, nobody's living in it, and what they did was she had people shovel the driveway and shovel everywhere. And because the house was empty, she said DPW just piled snow all over in front of her house, and she wanted to call in.
She got pictures of that? Because the house across the street from my house, nobody living there, and they didn't do that. So
well,
it depends on how it look now. One of the arguments I have, you got a lot of homes in Mount Vernon where the landlord don't live there, and they don't look like anybody live there. Look like abandoned.
She takes care of the house. I do know that. And she did send somebody. I do know for a fact because I found the person to send over there to shovel the house. So I do that. I do know that for a fact.
Right. I got that. But what I'm saying is that.
Well, if the house is shoveled, if the driveway
across the street, across my street, it scared me because ain't nobody there.
But if the house,
and they got a lot of room to be shoveling snow up on there.
Well, if the house is shoveled.
Just because they didn't do it one place don't mean they didn't do it in another place. Just because they did it,
but it makes common sense to respect.
So where's the pictures?
Well, she made the call. So, I
advise it, blackwestchester@gmail.com. Definitely hit us. And we're coming to the close of the show. We want to thank everybody. You could have been doing anything else. You decided to ride with us. I wanted to say just one thing. As far as the negativity comment, I agree with that. Sometimes we do have to agree to disagree and without degrading and dehumanizing the other. But then there are times, Black Westchester, as a journalist, when there are things that we need to hold certain people's feet to the fire. And if they're not doing what they need to be doing, then we will hold their feet to the fire and inform the public. You know what I'm saying? So they not get over on the public. So, it may be a negative thing, but if you're doing wrong, we're gonna put a spotlight on it so we can be fixed, so we can correct those errors, like you said, in correction, not in hate or malice, and we try to stick to that as much as possible. Same thing with the radio show. So with that said, I thank everybody for listening, and until next week. No, we're off next week, just fifth Sunday, so we will not be here next week. Be back the first week of February. Happy New Year.
Still rocking a new fifth.
No, we are doing fifth. Okay, we do 50th Sunday. Yeah, so we will be on fifth Sundays from now on. We will be on for fifth Sundays from now on. But that's a new thing because last year we were not on fifth Sunday, so I wanted to give people a heads up. But we will be here next week, and we thank the council president for coming through.
Yes. We want to thank Marcus Griffith
for coming through. Yeah, no doubt. And it's important, even though people before politics is important sometimes while elected officials, our community leaders come through and share information with the public. And I'd like to see more, that's what we do. We give the information. So I thank you for coming.
I just want to say something, man.
Okay. We're coming to the close, right?
Yeah, I know. It's just it ain't gonna be long.
23 minutes later.
I'm just saying, man. We're going to continue. Black Westchester will and I had this discussion on the Bob Marone show. Black Westchester was created, to give the news with a black point of view, but also give a spotlight on what our elected officials are doing for our community, good, bad, or indifferent. And if you disagree with it, then you just have to disagree with it. But we're going to give the opinion from the people's point of view and what the people need, because communities throughout Westchester, especially Black, Brown, and Latino communities, are suffering. And the only way Black elected officials are going to get in these posts is they get in through communities that have a lot of Black people. I mean, it is what it is. But don't think just because you get elected in that you don't have a responsibility to the community. You know, and I mean that goes for state senators. That goes for you know, that's
county
goes
legislators,
for
county
legislators.
yeah,
That go for
executives,
Ingle. That go for all of them because the reality is what we're talking about this year in this election, that the black vote has been taken for granted. Not just not just by white elected officials, but mainly by black ones. Because when they get in that office, they forget where the hell they came from. We're here to remind you where you came from, whether you like it or not. I mean, you know, we could agree to disagree. But at the end of the day, there's a responsibility on both ends. There's responsibility of the community for us to take responsibility as a community for our ills. Right. But there's also a responsibility of the elected officials that we come out, you know, faithfully and vote for you. So you have a responsibility too. So and that's what it's all about. It's love at the end of the day, because I think the goal is to make our communities better. And to get that respect that I know for a fact that they don't have, because I was told, I was told by people from Albany. So I know that. So let's get the respect, you know, and let's get the respect. And if we get the respect, we can get those dollars that go to these other communities can come to our communities, you know, and that's what it's about.
In closing, I just want to say, Ernie Davis now says, oh, yeah, you're behaving so much better. No, you're not the mayor, and you're not doing anything wrong, and there's no reason for me to attack you. So, and then on the other hand, there are Thomas administration people like, oh, this, that, and the other. No, when Ernie was the mayor, y'all had no problem putting his feet to the fire. And I say again, as a supporter of Richard Thomas, who wants to see him succeed, because if he fails, the city fails. So it's not personal, but things that if he doesn't do certain things, we're going to hold his feet to the fire as well, and that's only fair. Now, if I catch-22 now, because I supported him, if I didn't hold his feet to the fire, they'd be saying, the councilman, what? The councilman, the councilman is in here breaking things up. No, no. So no. But if we didn't say stuff about Mayor Thomas now, they would say we're favoring him and we're not holding his feet to the fire. So either way, it's a catch-22. There people are going to complain either way. But we, like I said, you could be doing anything else. You decide to rock with us. So we greatly appreciate you. And until next week, peace.
You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials, because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog maws confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nub. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner, because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run, or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on a rail with a brand new process. There will be no slow motion or still life of Roy Wilkins strolling through Watts in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been saving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow, because black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no highlights on the 11 o'clock news and no pictures of Harry R. women liberationists and Jackie Onassis blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Webb or Francis Scott Keys, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck, or The Rare Earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You You will not have to worry about a dove in your bedroom, the tiger in your tank, or the giant in your toilet bowl.